Welcome ladies and gentlemen, I am SocioPsycho and this is Mob Reviews, and today we're going to take a look at Painters Guild. This was created by Lucas Molina and it is a 2D management base building experience in a artistic historic revenue. How well does that actually manage to pull itself off, and that is what we will answer here today, and we will begin in the options menu. Now the options menu to the game is actually quite simplistic as it only has full screen or window mode. It launches unfortunately on window mode, and every time you will have to go back and update to full screen. It doesn't have a sound slider either, only mute, which is unfortunate, although I've not had the issue regarding music being too loud, and music is definitely one of the best qualities in this game. It really hits a atmosphere of relaxation and brings you into the more Renaissance art experience that without you would not be able to get. The issue with the lack of resolutional options does even express itself in this changing of guild name. For some reason, as they put a blip in here, exit full screen to edit engine limitation, meaning the engine that he used, the developers, you are at an inconvenience as a player. So it's just more simplistic to go with the standard guild name, as I'm not really seeing any implementation or value of changing it throughout the gameplay. The game's also been running at 30 frames per second with no tearing, clipping, or crashing, although with the window screen and full screen problematic issue, when you do hit escape to get into the menu, it actually windomizes the game. It is a bit annoying. Outside of that, performance-wise, there has not been anything. When we talk about the actual gameplay itself, as you can see, you have 3 different areas to choose from. One will give you 10% more gold from paintings, which can be very valuable. The second will increase your beauty of those paintings, making it easier for you to take on higher jobs sooner. And you gain 25% more gold from great works. Great works are more painting cathedrals, churches, palaces, and these sort of experiences. Although the game is very simplistic, there is a little bit of customization to your character in between your name, but again, the name needs to be done with a windowed mode, not full screen. You have your age from 20 to 29, and a few selections in hat, although the game is 2D, and you're not really scrolling in on your character at all, so these are just more minor nuances than anything that really is going to make much of a difference, as well as your hair color, as you can see. When you jump into the game is basically a management game. There's really no tutorial either, or even a simple progression of what you're doing. It's kind of thrown in and you need to figure it out for yourself, which can be a little confusing at first. As you can see in the middle of the screen, we have our character here. You basically drag and click to move character or objects that are in your buildings, thus allowing you to more orientate your layout of the building. Clients will come from the left side of the screen, and it will say what they want and the difficulty of that painting. And it's as simple as drag and click onto a painting, and your character will have the style of paint an artist will have as the bottom, as you can see, their attitude and their intelligence, or their personality trait. The blue bar under the portrait equals their rest. To increase their rest, they need to just sleep. On the bottom right side, you can see the paint stock. Now you need paint, obviously, in order to paint. To get more, you just have them work at the paint shop. If somebody is coming and the painting is too difficult for you, then you will require to decline. Declining someone's work is going to only give you a -2 to your prestige rather than 5. Now you're asking, whoa, this is a lot of information. What is prestige? Prestige, if we look up top, is the means to allure higher paying clients. The more prestige you gain, which is valued by putting out good artwork and finishing the contracts you take, as well as increasing your home base and the value of that base. There are items, so if we go into the furniture taskbar, we can see all these different types of items. You have your rest items, which increases the amount of rest, the pace of which, when your character is tired, how long it takes for them to get back into the swing of painting. You have skill orientations, which increases the different characters to faster them in leveling up. As you can see, model, dead body, furniture, and it says +2 skill. the style from light to dark, as there are various different types of art styles. As we can see here, there are 5 different art styles, and different paintings may acquire or delight in having a certain art style, but just because you don't have that art style does not mean that you can't take that contract. You'll get a bonus for completing the art style in the manner it wanted if that painting wanted one at all, but otherwise you will not suffer anything negatively horrible. You also have your capability to hire more people to really get the ball going and to make the progress continue. We'll just select from the district, which is close by, and you can see a scroll over of the various different types of characters that there are, what speciality of type of paint they like, and their mentality. Some will finish faster, as you can see, very fast, and some will be slow. So depends on you as to what personality style you want, as they have a star rating up next to them as well, which helps increase their actual value in doing contract work and how experienced they'll become. When we go back to furniture for a brief moment there, you have paint mixer, which can be very helpful, as you will run out of paint rather fast, as you see in the bottom right corner, that the paint goes down as you use it. Imagine that, it's amazing. This will allow you to increase your paint faster. Prestige allows you to increase your prestige. Like we said earlier, prestige allows you to have more higher paying clientele come across. So if you have money to spend, you can buy these items if you wish. And you have the others, which are miscellaneous. Changing clothes, so in case you picked a clothing option you didn't like in the beginning of the game, you can change that. Travel kit for people who have a lower level of experience. What happens is when you hire somebody on, they'll have a lower starting rank. As you can see here, this finger painter has 7. When she gets to 30, she'll want to journey for 2 years, which will cost you 200 gold, and she'll leave you and you won't be able to use her, and when she comes back, she'll be able to increase her skill rank that much more. When your skill rank of any character gets to 50, you have a chance to make a masterpiece item. This masterpiece item completion in the time allotment will allow your character to continue higher than 50. Otherwise, they'll be capped at 50. And then you just have a printing press, which is prestige. So the game pretty much is straightforward and simplistic in understanding that it's about building and expanding a base. It's about utilizing the units you have to manage who takes what course and how you continuously expand to ensure that your company is putting out more paintings and more paintings. Now, what I've come across in this game, you will run across a plateau in between a half hour to an hour into gameplay, depending on the individual, of course. What this plateau entails is a finalization of understanding the game mechanics. There are no more secrets or surprises or understanding or variables that occur throughout the game. This can be a good thing, as it will allow you to master the game further, or it will be the death and detrimental of the game, where you will be just really annoyed that there was not more aspects to it. So what does the plateau involve? Well, as you build your base up, as you progress, as you grow larger, the tasks become repetitive. People will always come in from the side, and they will want paintings. So you'll have to manage who is tired and who's not, who's on paint duty to make more paint for everybody, and where does everybody go. So it's a click and drag mentality that just continues to rotate through cycles. Oh, my master of painter is busy, so she's going to rest and I'll take somebody else and put it on the next job. Whoever is not tired will be painting. Whoever is tired will be sleeping, with a slight variation of the occasional special project if you decide to take it, such as a cathedral, church, or palace. But these, even, I found, can be more detrimental to your business than not. While they may give you extra gold and prestige, the time it takes and the amount of people it takes to complete this task can actually hurt you pretty bad and severely in allowing you to expand your business. Most times it's just easier to focus on the painting and the base building aspect rather than worrying about prestige or worrying about doing these special projects. So as you grow larger, as you become more engulfed into the world, and you have 4 or 5 different people working for you, and your prestige is getting higher because you're taking in more clientele and you're getting out more paintings, people will eventually come and say, hey, we want this painting, which is going to be 4 or 5 stars. Now, if they want this painting in a very specific style as well, then you're definitely screwed. Because you'll usually only have around 1 master, perhaps 2 or 3 if you're really skilled, or have a plan thought out, because it takes them years. The characters, as you picked in the beginning of the game, you pick what age they can be, up to 20 to 29, and as the game progresses through, events happen in the world to make you feel tied in, which is good, but the characters age. Everybody ages and the world ages. So your business, as you aspire to grow larger and more powerful and collect capital, becomes less minute because your main character, your hero who's become master, who's really engaging in some beautiful works, doesn't ever get to really feel like a legend. And if you do get there, you don't get to maintain that status for long because then you die of old age. Or perhaps somebody calls you out as being gay, in which I do appreciate in the historical sense of a game. There are certain events which will happen, and one is that you have a choice to select in your character selection homosexual, or perhaps you will not be homosexual and you'll still get called a homosexual, and if you're proven, or if a mob is angry enough, the roll of a dice more like, then your character can die. So even the best lives can be ruined, and then you lose just about everything. As the stability of this game is you build and build and build and build to acquire more clientele, to be able to handle and pump out paintings as much as you can. But the line is on a garrote, because as soon as one of your painters, one of your higher up painters, or maybe somebody lower who has a very important job and you don't have them to fill a position right away due to money restraints, your entire business can collapse because you can't handle the continuous in-stream that's coming at you. The balance in between how long it takes you to gain everything versus how long it takes you to lose everything is thrown out of whack. You lose everything so fast versus how long it takes you to gain everything. I appreciate the elements in the game which make your characters feel as if they're participating in the world, whether it is them getting in a bar fight and you have to bail them out, or some variation. But I haven't found any real positives. There hasn't been some sort of breakthrough or some sort of message that said, hey, one of your people has had an enlightenment and doesn't need to travel to do this or that and has increased his stats or something. But there's not. There's only the negative, unfortunate elements, which more times than not will end up with you either losing money to solve a problem or somebody dying. Either way, it's unproductive. With the continuation of a yearly fee, which makes sense in your art supplies, yes, it's going to cost money and you're paying your employees, but how much it costs to keep this business running usually is a real drain on the resources. You end up spending so much in between trying to expand, trying to purchase new items, because if you fail a painting project, you don't only lose prestige, but then you have no money from that as well. So it is a very fine line that this game walks in its methodology of progression. Is it entertaining? Yes, to a point. But once you hit that plateau, then it becomes just a repetitive nonsense with a heavy taxation on your resources. It doesn't feel as you're progressing. There's no sense of power or accomplishment. So at the end of the day, can I recommend this game? And if it is on sale for under $5, then perhaps so. But because there's no correlation or solidification of your power, because there is no true mastery and feeling of a legendariness as a painter, but only the continuous climb and burden of the ownership, management, and taxation upon your characters, whether it be age and death or financially, means that it does not relieve. You spend all this time and effort to build an empire which you at the same point end up watching crumble in front of you. Now you may call that artistic in a fashion, yes, but gameplay wise, not exactly that good of a choice, especially when your entire game is to build. So at standard full price, I cannot recommend this game. And if it still interests you after what you've seen here today, then okay. The best way to describe this would be a heavy point and click time management game with a casual setting and theme with hardcore later end mechanics, which is a very odd combination. It has great music, but unfortunately that wasn't enough to save it. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been SocioPsycho, and this has been Mob Reviews, and I thank you for watching, and I hope this has been of help to you, and I'll see you next time.